also, at one time, I used to do a lot of touring, and in the early days, Judith would tour with me. And then she got tired of touring. She wasn't really a showbiz person, and she got tired of touring, so I was doing it solo. And then a friend of mine that used to book my tours for me conceived the idea of having Casey and Finnegan on the show, but using a puppeteer and having Judith tape Casey's voice. So we did that for a couple of years. We made a larger Casey and a larger Finnegan, which showed up better on stage. And Casey's, of course, Finnegan didn't need a voice, which made it very handy. And we sent a script to Judith, and she recorded it. And we got a person who could handle puppets. And it was beautiful because Finnegan's mouth moved, but he didn't have a voice. And of course, Casey's mouth didn't move, so we could do a tape, and you didn't have to lip sync the puppet.
Wow.
And the only difficulty was me coming in with my dialogue at the right time in between Casey's recorded lines, and it was pretty hilarious when we were first trying it. But after a while, it worked so smoothly and seamlessly that one place we played, one of the technicians backstage said, "Geez, that guy that's doing the puppet sounds exactly like the real Casey. It's amazing." He had no idea that it was on tape. And I found that the spaces between, in our conversation, I could throw in a few other words and maybe a sentence or two in a pause, and it was very, very realistic. And a little hairy at first, but it worked beautifully. People had no idea that it wasn't Judith Lawrence actually doing the puppets.
Listening to this story, and when I was in university, I was doing a puppet show for the student TV station there. And when that ended, and I wanted to try and take these characters to another forum, we actually considered doing theater along those lines, but we were very skeptical as to whether or not this type of thing would work out with the pre-recorded voices, and
Yeah, well, it does. There was just a funny little aside. There was one point my line was, "Casey, do you know where my magic wand is?" And his response was, "I think I do." And I don't know why, but I kept saying, "Casey, would you get my magic wand?" And of course he'd say, "I think I do," which didn't make much sense, but I guess nobody noticed it. But it is possible to do it. It's kind of fun.
Good. Okay. And just out of curiosity, when you did the live performances using the Casey and Finnegan characters, and Judith obviously agreed because she...
of course, she got a percentage, a royalty on each show, percentage of the sales.
Okay, so there was some sort of agreement in place.
There's no way we would do it, if she didn't want to do it.
What rights, if any, do you think a public has to the images of characters, such as Mr. Dressup, Casey, Aunt Bird, Alligator Al, Chester? Shouldn't those same fans be free to utilize the characters in ways that the legal owners may not approve of? And the example I gave here is putting those images on a fan-based website.
I'm sort of two minds about that. A fan-based website would just mean that they would they're done with the best of intentions. If, on the other hand, if they use the images on an obscene T-shirt, for instance, then I'd say they should be sued or told to cease and desist. I've always been very easy about, if somebody wants to, for instance, I own the rights to the Tickle Trunk, and it's my creation, and the name Tickle Trunk is copyrighted in my name.
Okay.
A number of places I've been around the country, some people came up to me proudly and said, "We've got a shop that sells children's clothes, and we call it the Tickle Trunk, after your Tickle Trunk."
Oh, boy.
And I feel great about that. It's a kind of I don't know, it's a tribute in a way, and they've done it under for the best of reasons. So I don't mind that at all. Since they use the name Mr. Dressup, of course I don't use that, own it anyway. As a matter of fact, there was for a while in Toronto, I remember seeing a panel truck with the name Mr. Dressup on it. And it turned out that what they did was they would clean and refurbish cars, what do they call it, car detailing. And that's what they did. But before I could go any further, find out more about it, it sort of disappeared. So I don't know whether CBC got after him or not.
Okay. So my feeling from your response is, if it's a fan who really is doing it with the best of intentions, you don't necessarily have too much of a problem with it. But it has to, as long as it doesn't hurt the integrity of what you were trying to put out there. So let's say somebody goes onto GeoCities, creates their own website, and they call it a tribute to the Mr. Dressup program. And they'll have images from the program, pictures of yourself with the puppet characters, maybe a little bio on what they've researched. You'd be okay with that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think there are some websites that...
yeah, there are a couple.
And I know one of them has a front page of a little local newspaper saying Mr. Dressup is coming to town, which was someplace out near Edmonton. And I don't know how in the world they got that. Someday I'd like to go. I don't have. I'm not on the
internet
web, but someday I'd like to go through all the sites and see what's on them. And also, there's some misinformation on some of them. I understand.
Oh yeah.
It'd be nice to clear that up.